ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Get yours today at thebuttkicker.com and be sure to use our 20% discount promo code ISCA20.
I used to have to go in to the auto parts store. Pay too much, never find quite what I'm looking for. Now I just go online to RockAuto and see all the parts my car will ever need. Lower prices, more parts, more brands. It's so easy to find the right parts fast. All the parts your car will ever need. RockAuto. All the parts your car will ever need. RockAuto.com.
Road America, it is one of, if not the best road course racing facility in the entirety of the United States of America. This 4-mile road course has everything. It has sweeping corners, it has long straightaways, tight kinks, very hard braking zones, and all of that means that the iRacing Stock Car Association's ButtKicker Cup Series Season 3 of 2021 should be a very good showing here tonight as we get set to close out the first quarter of the season. I'm Ola Rempo with Al Kozlowski joining me in the commentator's box with Rob Melnick, as always, behind the cameras for today's race. So thank you guys for all taking the time to come on out, spend your Thursday nights with us, and my goodness, Al, what a track. It's a fantastic facility. Like I said, you got the long straights, you got the hard braking zones, everything that these Cup cars need to put on one of the best road course races we've ever seen in this series.
Absolutely, Nolan. We have 4 miles and 14 turns of track these guys are going to tackle tonight, and they've got times in practice for running anywhere between 2 minutes and 12 seconds all the way, that looks like 2 minutes and 28 seconds. So some of these guys are playing it safe, which is not a bad idea at this track, and some of these guys are giving it all they got. We're going to see guys sliding off the track into sand traps, sliding off the track into grass, hitting each other, spinning out on the turns or on the exits. We're going to see all kinds of happenings tonight.
The race is set at just 31 laps. Does not sound like a lot, but 125 miles is still quite the distance for these drivers to tackle here tonight. Stages are set at the ends of laps 7 and 14. So 2 7-lap stages. As always for those stages, pit road will be closing 2 laps prior to the stage ending. Now, it is also worth noting here, Al, that the race organizer, Kenny Powell, has opted to not count the race laps for this race at the road course, and that is because if you were to count those stage laps like you do at a traditional oval, you'd end up with a 3-lap second stage. Not really the best of options, I would say, for a lot of these guys out there, so I think that's a really good call. Make sure you don't have those laps that are being run under caution counting. You can have 2 full 7-lap stages. It's going to be great, and it's also one of those things that is only making an appearance for these road courses. So that is just to clear some confusion there. If you ever are under caution and see that the lap count is not taking over, it's not a glitch. It's supposed to be that way.
And also to let everybody know that's not watched any road courses before, they have only localized cautions. That means if there's a wreck somewhere, not necessarily will the whole field be frozen and start over again. There will just be a caution flown in that general area, letting other drivers know that there is a caution ahead.
So we go down to qualifying at this beautiful track just off Highway 67 in Plymouth, Wisconsin. Clayton Hoffman presently on his first flying lap, and already stepping the back end as well down through turn number 1. And we look at Hoffman, coming into this race here today. Already, pretty far up there in the point standings, currently sitting in the points lead, about 7.5 points up from second place runner Jacob Grant.
Yeah, Nolan, the track temp tonight is starting out at 110 degrees, and it's mostly cloudy at 78 degrees air temp. The winds are southeast at 5 miles an hour with a relative humidity of 58%. So this track is fairly hot, and these guys should have some grip, but I'm not seeing it.
It's very hard for these cars to be able to get a lot of grip in them. Of course, that is due in part to the high horsepower, lower downforce package that is being run at these road courses. Of course, that will definitely change when we switch on over to the next gen cars, which I believe is supposed to happen after Season 4 of the iRacing Stock Car ButtKicker Cup Series at the end of 2021. So looking at the point standings, Hoffman, once again, in the lead by about 7.5 points, but it's 30 points back to Matthew McKeegan in third place. So it seems to be Grant and Hoffman starting to run away with it. Noah Bitz is over there in the 4th position with Chuck Sweden in 5th. So it's a bit interesting here to see, how these various drivers are, trying to do this championship here. But it's also interesting to see already a 2-car breakaway at the top of the points lead in just these 2 starts. Also worth noting, John Ballew, last week's winner, is not going to be present here tonight, as will several other drivers who have elected to take provisionals.
Yeah, some of them, like myself, they're not very road course organized. I mean, I'm not used to the right and left. So the guys you see on the track tonight are, just like always, very talented, and they're about to show their skills. Now, we'd go back into the points lead you was talking about. It's very easy at a track like this for your points lead to diminish, because it just takes a couple of mistakes, not even by you sometimes, by other drivers maybe, that will take you right out of this race. So the points, the first, second, and third in the points championship right now, they have to be very cautious and race extremely smart, not to use up their equipment and not to be involved in wrecks.
Noah Bitz is currently atop the timing boards with a 2-minute 12.886. That is 4/10 slower than his practice lap, but it's also known that he was the fastest driver in practice, about a 10th faster than Braxton DeWeese, one of the newer drivers coming into today alongside Austin Greer. So there are a couple of newer names coming into today's race that we'll have to definitely keep an eye on as things go along. So far, the closest driver to Bitz is Austin Greer, as a matter of fact. He runs a 2:14.478. The slowest qualifier for now, Chuck Phillips with a 2:19.012, and he has already pulled it off. So Chuck Phillips is qualified. Has certainly not gone his way. Very long laps here. Only 9 drivers so far having set times.
Yeah, it's Noah Bitz is the 87 driver. That's my pick to win the race tonight. I don't know if any of the listeners has ever watched this before, but how I usually do it for my pick to win the race is I roll a dice, 1 die, and whatever number that rolls on, the fastest in practice, that number, it coincides with that. And Noah Bitz happened to be, at the time when I rolled the dice, he was the 4th fastest. So typically what happens when I roll that dice and pick a winner, it's not very good luck for that individual. It's been history now going on for almost a year and a half now that anybody I pick to win the race never finishes the race, or at least doesn't finish in the top 10. So I'm waiting for that driver, and I'm hoping tonight that's Noah Bitz, the 87 machine, that's going to pull me out of this stump here and break this losing streak I got going on here. So good luck, Noah Bitz, and that 87 machine.
He's presently 1.4 seconds up from McKeegan, so if he's able to hold that pace down through the course of the race, he will certainly be able to come away with the race win. It's worth noting, though, he's going to have to wait until the 3rd and final stage to get that done. Of course, you remember that there are the 2 stages that are going to reset the field, bring everybody back together, so it's arguable that he's not going to win this one in the first 14 laps, rather the last 17 or so. That's also another point worth noting is, of course, the fuel mileage. These drivers are going to be forced to make a pit stop in the closing stages of the race. They have a fuel window of 13 laps. It will not play a factor into the first 2 stages. Will most certainly play a factor, though, into the 3rd and final stage on the night.
Yeah, the mistakes that are going to be made here are not only going to be on the track, but they can also be made on and off pit road. Pit road speed is 45 miles an hour, and it's so easy when you're driving this track to overlook that and go over 45 miles an hour and get a penalty. So let's watch for those mistakes. We're not going to be looking at any kind of an aero push or a dirty air situation for these guys tonight because, again, this is a road course. But we will be watching for mistakes coming on and off pit road and see when those are made. I'm hoping these guys can manage their driving ability and their pitting abilities like they have on a regular oval track on this road course to not create a problem for themselves.
Just 1 minute and 20 remaining in qualifying here from Elkhart Lake Road Americas. And very few drivers out there on the course. I'm seeing Connor Mulligan is out there on his first flying lap. He will not be able to get a second one in. Clayton Hoffman is out there, has not set a time yet. He is on his second lap already, though. So Clayton Hoffman evidently not having the best of runs, and he was sitting third place at the end of practice. So Hoffman, points leader coming into today, is definitely one driver to certainly keep an eye out throughout the course of this race. I'm seeing Grebichinski is also on a second flying lap. He will not have time to complete this lap. Chuck Phillips is just about to come across the line to the 1:27. He had a 1:19.012. He will not be able to get this lap counted due to him not having made a full second lap, which is a big shame for him. Glenn Ballard, as he has gone off in the 81 car. He's not even on a lap. Neither is Josh Smathers. Neither driver having time there. So we're looking at the moment, just like Clinton Hoffman is going to come up and over the rise. Will he be able to get this one sorted and potentially move himself up the running order? Across the line, does this lap count? It does, a 2:11.983. He picks pole from DeWeese.
Yeah, that's an amazing run for Clayton Hoffman there, our current points championship leader. I will also tell you, Nolan, tonight's race has got a 75% fuel tank. That means these tanks are filled to a capacity of 75%. That means these drivers are going to have to pit in the last segment. What my guess is, and my curiosity level is which driver is going to try to roll the dice and only take fuel in that last pit stop.
Qualifying is complete. Let's take a rundown for the national anthem.
Race fans, it is time for those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
We are back in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin's Road America for round number 3. The RockAuto 125 for the Irish Stock Car Association ButtKicker Cup Series Season 3 of 2021. Going to take a rundown for the starting grid. Clayton Hoffman in a flying lap, over a second faster than his best practice lap, puts it on pole with a 2:11.983. Braxton DeWeese sits beside him on the front row, 0.3 of a second back. About half a second behind him, Noah Bitts starting in third, and Al's picked to win tonight, Timothy Swiggett, starts in 4th place. Already 3+ seconds back from your leaders. Keenan Massey rounds on the top 5 with Matthew McKeegan in 6th. Austin Greer sits in 7th with Corey Cook in 8th. Wayne Grossi and Randy Drumhiller in 9th and 10th.
And we've got the number 2 car, Philippe Raderich, the 24 of Kenny Powell, starting at 12th. 13th will be 17th of Robert Pattengale. 14th will be Chuck Phillips in the 127. 15th will be the 4 car of Brian Johnson. 16th is the 23rd car of Dan Shamoon. 17th will be the 48 car of Chris Johnson. 18th of the 20 car of Josh Smathers. 19th will be the 18 car of Jacob Grant, and running off the top 20 is the 81 of Glenn Ballard.
Glenn Ballard, of course, going to be going to the back of the field with an AOL penalty given out early. Greg Wachinski 21st place coming into today's race with Will Barlow in 22nd. By now, we're getting drivers that have not set times. The last of those drivers was in 14th place, by the way. Justin Belmonte is in 23rd with Seth Hollinger 24th. Connor Mulligan in 25th. Michael Grant in 26th. Paul Olson 27th. Kyle Labrie in 28th with David Gervais in 29th. Paul Olson is likely to make the start from pit row. Ballard and Barlow have both been given penalties. Also starting from pit row will be Chuck Phillips, qualified 14th, and Corey Cook, who qualified in 8th. So I'm surprised to see Cook starting down from pit row.
Well, Nolan, I don't think those penalties, when you say penalties, I don't think they were something they did wrong. I think they requested to start at the back of the field, and that's something, a strategy such as like what Paul Olson is doing, is something that I would do at a road course like this, so I'm not in the way of everybody. Plus, as you'll watch when we get the green here, this first lap is going to be very detrimental to some of these drivers. There's going to be some drivers that may lose control and take out 4, 5, 6 cars. I hope not, but the races I've watched this week has proven me to be that's the case.
Brian Johnson in the number 4 car, another driver who was a pretty big name in last year, the last season here, season 2, is also starting from pit road. So you got 4 total drivers starting from pit road here, 2 with the OLs, and the remaining, if I'm doing my math here on this one right, the remaining 24 drivers, 23, I was a bit off. The remaining 23 drivers are all going to be started up where they qualified, or at least the 14 that have done so. The others sorted, I believe, randomly by Iverson, or according, it's not even according to the fastest practice time, based on the fact that there's a 2:15 ahead of a 2:14. So not sure how Iverson goes ahead with trying to figure out where people start if they don't qualify. Is it just randomized in hosted sessions?
Yeah, I think they randomize it. I don't, typically they'll go by your car number, but at this these leagues, I don't know how they do it.
Coming around through the carousel, combining turns of 9 and 10 together. This is going to be one of the more treacherous turns out there. Same with the kink of turn 11 coming up just next. Some of the faster corners on the circuit. And in these cup cars, you put 1 foot wrong, you're going to be sliding off and most likely slamming into either a tire or a concrete barrier. So it's bound to be a difficult one. It's worth noting as well that turn 1 and 5, those are the estimated best passing zones on the track at turn 1. And of course, the downhill braze zone into turn 5. We're expecting some calamity over there as well, Al.
I just noticed that the 4 car, Brian Johnson, is also elected to start from the pits. So there are, it looks like 3 or 4 cars that have elected to start from the pits.
So the pace car is just now coming here through Canada Corner in just a moment's time. So final stretch here. Tell us what you think here, Al, before we go green.
I think we're about to see some, in the beginning, first 1 or 2 laps, it's going to be some tremendously tight racing. These guys are going to be fighting for a position because, again, they have 7 laps, which is about 28 miles to get in front of this thing and win the first stage. So it's going to be pretty exciting. I think I expect to see a lot of good skilled drivers pushing their luck.
The pace car rounds, turn 14. We are ready to go racing here in Wisconsin at Road America. Pace car pulls off. We now just wait on that iRacing green flag. Clayton Hoffman is your control car. The green flag drops. We are underway for Road America. And look at this, DeWeese able to predict the lawn quickly. He has a run of Hoffman. Coming up turn number 1. Noah Bitts has nowhere to go. He backs out in the 87 machine. Look out for Swinging, trying to make a dive on the outside line. He bobbles. He goes off and into the grass. Apart from that, everybody else is clean through the turn 1 behind him.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of that right there. Into the gravel, into the grass, that kind of excitement in these turns. Those sand traps, lucky for these guys, they're able to get out of them pretty clean, but you've got to watch these exits of these corners. This track is still kind of green. It doesn't have a lot of rubber laid down on it yet. You do not want to pressure that gas coming off these turns. Otherwise, you can squirrely good around. Also, I noticed running this track earlier this week that if you get any of your tires, looks like the 7 car goes off track and almost causes a melee there. If you get any of your tires into the grass and you're in a turn, you can spin that thing out really easy. It's just like real life. This is iRacing, baby.
Oh, we've had a wreck. Connor Mulligan has had a major spin at the entrance of turn number 5. Lost back in all by himself and tagged the wall. And as well as that, Glenn Bauer, I think, locked it up on reaction when he saw that. Also trying to avoid Michael Grant, who got sideways. So They were ended up going almost 3-4 wide into the corner with a lot of calamities. Drivers trying to find their own way through. Everything managed to be safe and sound for now, so it looks like things are pretty sorted out in front. I noticed that Deweese is taking the race lead of the run down towards turn number 5. Side by side, though, between Jacob Grant and Kenny Powell through the carousel. If they try to go side by side with the King as well, Al, that is quite literally suicide of this track, and Powell's going to back out.
Yeah, Kenny's. Oh, there's already one into the fence there, and that looks like that is. What's that, a 30 car?
Smathers, the 20, Josh Smathers.
We're going to see a lot of that. That's what I mean by getting impatient. You really got to drive this track. There's another one off the track into the gravel there, into the wall. I mean, these turns are treacherous.
And Hollander, at that point in time, he got loose on braking and just could not slow down in time, slid deep and went hard into the tire barriers. Good news is they have stage 1 to get things sorted, bring it back in and reset. So up front, Braxton Deweese leads the opening lap, often trying to run him down with a lot of draft down this front straightaway, but not going to be nearly close enough to make that look into turn 1. Might be able to try for 5 potentially. The two closest drivers on the track at the moment is actually between Wayne Grossi and Philippe Radojic, who just about went side by side through turn 1 as well.
Yeah, you got to watch these guys. They're going to get really aggressive, and they're going to try to wonder, where can I go? Typically, on an oval track, sometimes the inside's the best place to pass, sometimes the outside. This is a road course. Any way you can get around them, you better do it. Typically, in my opinion, if you can do it on the straightaways, that's the best way to do it. But you'll see some of these guys that are going to dive it in there deep in these corners and just hard brake it. And when that happens, they're going to slide into whatever car they're trying to pass, or they're going to just slide right off the track.
Radojic is off course in turn number 5. The 2 car had to swing way wide to avoid slammed into the back end of Wayne Grossi, got into the tire barriers. Oh, and he's just got been tagged by Corey Cook right as he came from the corner. Too fast, missed the apex, and got nailed by the 61.
Yeah, and he has chosen to tow that thing back to pit road. He's not going to try to drive it, so he may be done. Philippe may be done for the night.
Heads up. Braxton Deweese has lost the lead. Something has happened to the number 3 car. Going to try to back up and find out. He went off trying to get around Clayton Hoffman down into turn 8. Through the hurry down, slid into the gravel. He's now side by side with a lot of cars here. Currently caught up in a train view for 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Deweese gets loose. That allows Austin Greer to get a run of the 45 car. He's going to try to make a run, try to pick up the 6th position down here into the Canada corner. Here comes Dan Shamoon trying to fight the outside.
Now Noah Bitts in that 87 machine, my pick to win the race, is right there now in 2nd place, and he's hunting down Clayton Hoffman. So all he has to do is hope that Clayton Hoffman, a seasoned driver in that 92 machine, makes a mistake so he can take the lead.
Robert Patgill has gone off. Corey Cook's gone off, both in the Canada corner, so the mistakes continue to grow here at this racetrack. It's definitely a hazard, Canada corner would seem. Canada would tell us this might be a hazard here, particularly on the brakes. That has been the case as Patgill went into the wall, and Corey Cook made the exact same mistake that we saw another driver made. I think it was he that made that mistake on just the first lap of the race. So now side by side between Belmonte and Smathers coming down towards turn number 1. There's a lot of different battles all over the racetrack here that we have to keep an eye on. For now, let's take a look at that side-by-side one between Belmonte and Smathers. That's going to sort itself out. So if we can now, I'd like to turn back up to 5th and 6th. Bryson Deweese is struggling to keep Dan Shamoon behind him.
Yeah, I would like to take a ride along right quick if we can with Dan Shamoon in that 23 machine, and let's watch this race from his view.
This is the hardest braking zone right here down in the turn number 5. You see how much they have to get on the binders for and how much they just closed up to Matthew McKeegan up in 4th. Shamoon's able to hang with it though, so at the moment, now this section of the track here, I like to call this the speed section. You can go through here really quickly in a lot of cars. These cars ain't one of them. It is one of the hardest places to pass on the track for sure. If you're brave enough, maybe down into turn 8 here, but the likelihood that you're going to be going off track instead and taking your opponent with you is a heck of a lot higher. As these guys are getting checked up, though, by Matthew McKeegan, it's worth noting that Austin Greer is starting to work his way back into things as well with the 45 car.
Yeah, as we're watching Dan Shamoon, the viewers can hear that there's a lot of upshifting and downshifting. That is about the only way. They don't ever want to downshift without applying to the brake. And it looks like Dan's trying to go to the inside, to the outside of Braxton here. He's trying to line himself up in that 3 machine, but Dan doesn't calm it down here and stop being impatient, he's going to end up in the gravel or the grass or against the guardrail or something.
Into turn 12, can to the corner, looks for the inside. Aqua's enough luck up though from McKeegan. Sends the 41 wide. That allows both drivers through. 3 spots for them. McKeegan is going to go back several. Rejoins right in front of Wayne Grossi, who manages to avoid him. So Shamoon still looking very strong against Braxton Deweese of this battle for what is now the 4th position. And these guys are going to be getting stage points at the end of this well. They are battling for points as well. It's 5 points to the stage winner, 4.5 to second, 4th to third, and so on and so forth back to 10th, who earns just 1 point. Half a point even, not even one.
Yeah, it was good to see the in-car camera view here with Dan Shamoon in that 23 machine, so we can see what happens. One little mistake. If you're not driving out, there's another one right there, right in the grass. So Dan, if he just keeps it clean and stop getting the pressure, he has no pressure behind him. I mean, he's got the 45 that's riding back there, but don't use up your equipment. If you're driving out of your rearview mirror, you're having problems. You know, so Dan Shamoon needs to drive out of his windshield and forget about that rearview mirror.
Take a look back at Deweese. He's off again in turn 3. That checks a big battle between Smathers, Wachinski, and Johnson. Battling for 11th, 12th, 13th. How wrong has it gone, though, for that number 3 car, Braxton Deweese? He qualified so high up. I mean, we're talking Deweese started 2nd place. He is now down to 15th in just 4 laps. He has fallen such a big way. That is such a shame to see.
Yeah, all it takes is just one mistake, and you'll get all those positions back. So I would dare to say, be patient. You'll be up there. Just kind of keep your driving ability in your pocket here and watch your P's and Q's and hit all your marks. You'll be just fine. I'm watching the 18 machine of Jacob Grant as he's trying to find his way past the 41 machine of Matthew McKeegan. As Matthew is kind of like sneaking around there, hanging around Wayne Grossi. I mean, they're all pretty tight in this 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th position.
Brandon Drumhill is also in the works. Grant looks for the inside. Don't go for it, though. Like I said, side by side with the King, never a smart move, and that is even when you get around to GT cars, Indy cars, the like, let alone stock cars, they'll only have the one line through there. So Grant's closing with that draft, has a big run of Drumhill. Drumhill checks him up a little bit, though. That allows McKeegan to pull a bigger gap. Jacob Grant is not going to make the mistake that McKeegan made just 1 lap prior. He's going to hold steady. He might be able to have a shot at that 44 car coming down for turn 1.
Yeah, you're asking for Randy Drumhill to make a mistake. That's very hard to ask there. Jacob Grant is going to give him a lot of pressure, and I don't think it's going to work for him. I think he's going to, well, he's going to the inside. Looks like the 18 is going to take the inside of Randy Drumhill. Randy's chosen to back off a little bit and give him that position. He doesn't like the pressure.
Yeah, he went wide. That's what happened. He went a little bit too wide on exit in that final corner there, Al, and had to check up, or he would have gone off course altogether. So that's what gave an easy run to Jacob Grant. I can guarantee you, though, Drumhill, if he can get a good draft through turn 3 here, he is going to be trying to go for a cutback down for 5, but he has already fallen back in a big way. So a lot of these battles starting to split up now as this race goes on and on. Just taking a quick look to see what's going on where. I am seeing a pretty sizable fight here with Brett Wachinski, Justin Belmonte, Josh Smathers, and Chris Johnson running just outside the points.
When you look at this field, how they're running, first and second are only about a second and a half apart. Third is already 10 seconds behind second. So first and second are walking away from this field. I mean, when you're talking from the leader all the way down to 10th place, that's 22-second gap.
Chris Johnson under 5 from Smathers. Smathers steps the back send out and is not able to get through. Wachinski right close to the 20, right behind. Look at the 20 car. He is so sideways in the center of these corners, just cannot get power down at all, and it has cost him severely. He's good on the brakes, not so much on the throttle. He's being too aggressive here, trying to catch up to Johnson.
I mentioned that earlier in the broadcast, that you got to be patient on that throttle. I mean, you almost got to pretend like you got an egg underneath that throttle there and you don't want to crack it. Just be very gentle with that, especially on the exits. If you're not, as you see with Josh Smathers, you're going to get really loose. And when you're really loose, you know what else you're doing? You're tearing apart those tires. And it's really going to mishandle for you. There goes, looks like Kenny Powell into the gravel. And it looks like we've got Greg Wyszynski is trying to pressure Josh Smathers here. And he is going to keep the pressure on.
Oh, Brian Johnson is into the wall as well. Al from 24th, locked up in the can of the corner and slammed the tire barriers.
And he didn't really have to race that hard. He started from pit road. He could have just gently rode it through. Looks like we have a race going on here with Wayne Grossi up here.
Yeah, Kenny Powell just passed both Grossi and Randy Drumhiller both on the same straightaway. So Powell is certainly flying, trying to pick up more points as Grossi gone off track. That checked up Drumhiller when he came back on. So Kenny Powell struggled to hang on here. Pit road is closed, by the way. So we are now at the stage where pit road is officially closed. Drivers cannot come down today. We'll be suffering an end of the longest lap penalty under this next green flag period. So I can tell you what, this is going to be really intense. Coming to that last lap of the stage in a few moments' time.
Nolan, I have to say, I thought that was Kenny Powell that went into the gravel earlier, and that's because when we're watching this race, our track guide here is it's such a large track. It doesn't really give us the positions of these drivers until they come across the start-finish line. So we could have, like Wayne Grossi, for instance, in 8th position, and by the time we come across the start-finish line, he could be in 11th. So I think I made an error there. I don't think Kenny Powell was in the gravel. I think that was another car that looked just like him. But there is a very tight battle going on between Randy Drumhiller, Kenny Powell, Wayne Grossi. It looks like Greg Wyszynski's in the mix of this, as Kenny is catching a guy in front of him as well.
Don't forget Smathers, Josh Smathers in the mix of things. Like, keep in mind, these are for the last stage points up for grabs. Got 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 9th, 8th. All those drivers in the mix of things here. All of these guys are trying to have a piece at those final precious points that people need. Clayton Hoffman is in pit road. That's an instant call. He is going to get in that alongside pit. No, he's not. Hoffman has crashed. He's just crashed out of the lead. He beats the car. Ow! Clayton beats the car in Canada. Got to the ground and couldn't get it going again. He had to take a tow.
I told you, this is a track that's going to take away some points championship. You know, this is a make or break for you. Brian Johnson has chosen to take his car to the garage and not finish this race. I mean, a lot of these guys are going to lose some very valuable, championship points because of this track.
Final lap of the stage now, coming up here in a big way. So with all of that now being sorted out, looks like Josh Smathers is now the final car in the bubble spot with Wyszynski and Belmonte struggling to close him behind. Wayne Grossi and Randy Drumhiller in a fierce fight for 8th and 9th, currently going back and forth between them out on the exit of turn 1.
That looks really good for my 87 Noah Bitts here. He's going to be, looks like if he can keep himself on the track, he'll be the first stage winner in tonight's race. And he has got no pressure. Noah Bitts is in the 87 machine is 12, almost 11 and a half seconds actually in front of second place. So he could basically, he's on a Sunday drive.
Smathers! Josh Smathers just picked up 2 spots in the braking zone of turn 5. Got a huge run of steam on Drumhiller and Grossi. Wyszynski punches his way into the points as well. Wyszynski is on it. Wayne Grossi is trying to fight back. So is Belmonte and Drumhiller now going side by side. Again, he's up for the last stage. That was Smathers. That was Ian had just made such a great pass too, and now he's out of the stage points for stage 1. Rossi's off course, almost right in front.
Oh, they're banging this stuff. They're fighting for these.
Oh my!
1 point. We've got 4 cars here. No one, 4 cars is fighting for a point. 1 point. That means a lot to them.
Every point matters. In a series like this, every single point matters. Every half a point matters now with these new stage formats. DeWeese is literally pushing Wyszynski. What a fight back from DeWeese. He has been doing so well to try to work his way up there.
Wayne Grossi. Looks like Wayne Grossi has taken 8th. And I think Greg Wyszynski's going to be a 9th or 10th as he come across the start-finish line.
Oh, look out! Right behind, Chris Johnson just rear-ended Justin Belmonte big time and sent both cars wide.
Those are mistakes you cannot make as a driver. I mean, that's going to cost you. Any front-end damage is going to take away your aero as well. And your turning ability is going to be off. You're going to really use up your machine if you get any kind of damage here.
Oh, here comes DeWeese. Wyszynski screws up. Braxton DeWeese has the run, trying to run down the 5 car, but it will not be enough to get those points.
And that's going to put Greg Wachinski in the 9th position. So our top 10 cars for the first stage are going to be Noah Bitts, Dan Shamoon, Austin Greer, Keenan Massey, Matthew McKeegan, Jacob Grant, Kenny Powell, Ryan Grossi, Greg Wachinski, and Braxton DeWeese.
What a thrilling race. Kenny Powell and Jake Grant have both gone off again in turn 3, by the way. Now, we just have to wait for these guys to catch the tail end of the racing line, and oh, that'll be a done deal. Holy cow. What a first stage, though. That was insane.
That's all about stage racing right there, Nolan, and that's why I absolutely love it. I mean, the racing is from beginning to end. If we didn't have stage racing, these guys would just basically be riding around whatever position they got. Look, wait, we got Greg Wachinski off track here. If he can keep it off the wall, he manages to try to get it under control. He is mowing the grass. He's got it back on the track now, and he didn't lose his position or anything, but that's going to hurt him a little bit. Now these guys will come in, and they'll get 4 freshies, fill that tank back up, and we'll go back at it again for 7 more laps. In the meantime, as we wait for these pit stops to happen, let's go ahead and give some thanks to our amazing sponsors, ButtKicker. And I'm going to go ahead and turn mine up because I think I'm not getting enough butt kicking. This thing is amazing. And on this road course, these guys going off track, if I'm watching the right driver, I'm getting one heck of a sensation here. So this is an amazing unit to have. So stay tuned and we'll give you the information on how you can get your 20% off on an amazing butt kicker.
ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Get yours today at TheButtKicker.com and be sure to use our 20% discount promo code ISCA20.
I used to have to go in to the auto parts store. Pay too much, never find quite what I'm looking for. Now I just go online to RockAuto and see all the parts my car will ever need. Lower prices, more parts, more brands. It's so easy to find the right parts fast. All the parts your car will ever need. RockAuto. All the parts your car will ever need. RockAuto.com.
And we're back, end of stage 1. And what a first opening stage it was. I mean, goodness gracious me. That is how you put on a proper race on a road course right there. Holy cow, what a race. So we're going to bring up stage 1 winner, Noah Bitts. Joining us up at the broadcast booth. Noah, you got a copy?
Can you hear me?
That we do. So, Noah, an insane stage for you. It was looking as though Hoffman would be able to run away with a lead. He ended up not really doing so well, though. Ended up falling out after having crashed and kind of corner beach of the car. So, how do you feel to be winning that first stage after an insane turn of events?
Yeah, so far I'm pretty surprised about it, too.
No, this is Al Kozlowski in the booth. I'm the one that picked you to win the race tonight, brother. You are on a good streak right now. Let's keep our car together, and let's break that loser streak I got going on here and win this thing.
Yeah, I'll do my best for you.
It's looking amazing right now. Can you give us a little bit of pointers on what these guys are doing out there to make you a little concerned that you're doing different, that got you the stage win, and also got you 12 seconds in front of second?
Well, I could tell that I was burning my tires off faster than Hoffman was, and that concerns me a little bit when it comes down towards the last part of the race. But other than that, it's it's still anybody's race. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, I guess.
Yeah, it appears that an error is the only thing that can go wrong for you. If you slide off the track or get into the gravel or the grass or something like that, that's where you make your errors at. And time really, whatever car is chasing you is going to be able to pass you easily at that time. You have anything different you think you're doing stage 2 here?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and see if I can't save my tires a little bit more and still maintain a lead.
Now, how were you planning on doing that?
Instead of coming out of the corner in first, I might try second. I'm not really sure what gear I need to be using in every corner so far. I haven't had a lot of practice at this track, and I think it's already showed.
Well, brother, hey, to win a stage here at this track is an amazing feat here. So you're coming on pit road, I believe, right now. So we'll let you go ahead and get into your pits, and congratulations on your first stage win at ISCA.
Thanks, guys.
And there we have it. We talked to Noah Bitts in that 87 machine, who is our stage 1 winner. And I believe, Nolan, if I'm not mistaken, they freeze the field at the stage. So, I mean, do you have to pit? Can you gain a position by not pitting? I mean, what's the strategy here for some of these drivers?
You absolutely can still gain those positions. It will not count them, though, until after you come back across the line. Because remember, all these laps under caution, they are not being counted. So all of this stuff is, it's very interesting here as to how this is all going to play out.
And so we had some wave around cars because for some reason at this track, our stage ability to create stages at this track, iRacing does not have it to where we can. What in the world is a 5 and a 7 doing? I'm sorry. They don't have an easy formula to doing stages. So we have to create our own way of doing stages. And somehow, some way, we had some drivers that got a lap down and we had to give them a wave around to them because they were either behind the pace car or ahead of the pace car, or I don't know what happened, but we're getting this all straightened around and then we'll go back to green.
So what an insane first stage here, Al. I mean, this is going to be an exciting stage 2, to say the very least. I mean, you've got all these drivers that are hungry, they're chomping at the bit. We saw how they're like in the first 7 laps of stage 1. They're, of course, they're going to be getting themselves sorted here for another 7 laps of race, which will end at the end of lap 14. Honestly, if these next 7 laps are going to be like the first 7 were, I cannot wait.
Well, Nolan, I don't believe we're supposed to be counting the laps, but I'm looking at lap 8, so the counter still goes on. So are we going to go, the end of stage 2 will be at lap 14? Because if we have 3 laps under caution, we're only going to have about 4 more laps of racing.
Well, not quite. The reason why it says lap 8 is because that is the lap that they were on at the time the caution was thrown. If we were counting caution laps, they should actually be on lap 10 by now. So it has not been counted. That's just the lap that they were on at the moment the caution was thrown. Because it's thrown at the end of lap 7, going on to 8. That is thrown once 10th place crosses the start-finish line. And 10th place was, of course, Braxton DeWeese. So just about everybody further in the back is going to be saying, lap 8 or lap 7. Because it goes to the earliest scoring loop, which is in this case lap number 8, because that was the lap that the caution was thrown in. So that is the process that RC used to determine that.
So our confusion is going to be when we throw the next caution, we're going to throw it in when the 10th car passes the start-finish line at lap 14, but as they come back around, it'll actually read 15 for us. So we got Clayton Hoffman, who's back on he's back on the track, but he should have an EOL because he was on pit road when pit road was closed, correct?
Well, that's the complicated thing about this, is that he had to toe to pit road, though. He didn't pit willingly. It makes it a very different situation, a very unique one that they have to deal with,
Yeah, but it doesn't. We don't have a if, ands, or buts. It's if you enter pit road when pit roads are closed, no matter how you get there, that's end of the line. So I do believe that you know, the strategy is that you know, I believe Clayton Hoffman should be at the end of the longest line. To clear this up before we go green, why don't we pull and talk with Kenny Powell? We'll pull up Kenny Powell and the 24 machine.
Sorry, by the way, we're kind of doing some multitasking. I'm the one in charge of throwing the stages here, so we're kind of all over the place at the moment, just trying to get things sorted out. We're still new to this whole stage racing deal, so that's why I'm somewhat quiet at the moment. We are one to green, though, so hopefully we will be going green this next time by.
I think there's chatter going on between Kenny Powell and Clayton Hoffman. Yeah, and he's supposed to be at the end of the longest line. Clayton Hoffman, end of the longest line.
Yep, and the only reason for that, Al, was not necessarily that he towed back to pit road, because keep in mind, if he tows back to pit road, he doesn't have a choice in the matter, which makes it a very unique situation. The reason why he's being served this penalty is because he took tires when he was replaced back at his pit box. Had he not taken tires, that honestly would have been fine, and it's safe to do so. Otherwise, he'd be penalizing every poor soul that had to tow within those 2 laps, even though they didn't have a choice. Remember, Hoffman, he couldn't move. He was stuck in the gravel with the car beached. He didn't have any other option. He did not willingly pit. However, he did have the option to not take tires. That is why he was being served this penalty.
Well, that penalty didn't hurt him that much, and that tow didn't hurt him that much, because typically, you know, a tow would take you anywhere between a lap. I mean, that tow should have took him roughly about 3 minutes, and it didn't, obviously, because he made it on pit road and still was able to come out in 17th position. I mean, so that tow didn't hurt him at all. So now he's got to work his way back to the front of this thing if he stands a chance. Probably should either delay the start of this or give an EOL to Paul Olsen, because he got a wave around.
And they just made the call. Paul is going to be given an EOL to avoid any confusion. He was at the tail of the field anyway, so it's not going to hurt him any. So at the moment, you've got yourself about 7 drivers that are still trying to catch the field. Some of them are caught up. You got Glenn Ballard, Will Barlow, Michael Grant, Corey Cook, and Paul Olsen. So then, Al, almost time to go back to racing here for stage number 2. This is going to be a good one.
Yeah, we've got Chuck Phillips in a 127 machine. He's still on pit road. I wonder if Timothy Swingett and Brian Johnson are still on pit road. Let me check on that for you. No, it looks like Brian Johnson's called tonight, and so is Timothy Swingett in the 73 machine.
Coming to stage number 2, your control car, Noah Bitts, stage 1 winner. Launching away, a much better launch than our pole sitter was. We're underway for the next 7 laps of racing. Down for turn number 1. Couple drivers elected to go side by side. So far, though, much cleaner start this time around than the first stage. I say that, one driver way off. That's Will Barlow in the 15.
Drummiddle's having a rough time of this thing, too, in that 44 machine. He's trying to keep it on track here as the 20 comes around.
Oh, hello.
Matt
Drummiddle's just had a spin in the 44. That was as a result of that battle with Smathers that he ended up getting turned around in.
Smathers comes around pretty strong against the 48 machine, comes to the inside and passes cleanly there, and now he's going to try to, he's on the bumper of the 41 machine of Matthew McKeegan, and he's trying to outbrake these guys in the corner. And what this is going to do is cause his tires to get worn out a whole lot faster than everybody else, and he will either spin that thing out or wreck into somebody.
So stage 2 is off to a pretty smooth start, all things considered. At the moment, one of the closest battles is between McKeegan and Smathers in the 41 and the 20. Got Chris Johnson and Clayton Hoffman also in the mix of this as well. Tell you what, despite all of those little confusions with trying to figure out the running order because the caution lap's not being counted, overall, that was a very good job, and everyone managed that. We have not had any issues that have needed to be solved, so that's what you always love to see in a race like these. Oh, hello, one car's way off. That is Dan Shalhoub in the 23 car, dumped out of second place. Oh, thanks for King. It's been a big crash with the 23.
Yeah, these tires, they're not got a lot of wear on them right now, so you really got to be cautious and watch these corners. And when you brake, they'll slide all over the place. You can start to see a little bit of rubber being laid down on the track, but it's not going to be consistent. Towards the end of this race, you'll see a lot more dark colors on this track, more so in the turns than you will see on any straights.
Smathers and McKeegan looking nice and tight. Coming up and over the hill and over start finish. Smathers looking for the position, but decides to back off and not go for it. McKeegan closing fast on Wachinski into the braking zone. Nearly runs over the 5, but gets it slowed down. Smathers with the bail out of the corner to avoid running over the car in front of him. Braxton DeWeese, the outside pole sitter, is presently fighting it out with Keenan Massey for third. Behind, Jacob Grant going to make a pass around the 47 car to try to gun for the third and final podium position in the run down to turn 5.
And he gets it. He gets it cleanly. So, yeah, that was a very wise decision of Keenan to kind of back it off there instead of, you can't win the race if you're not at the end of this thing. Oh, as he goes around, it looks like there's a mistake. That was Jacob Grant. And
he held it.
He's got 2 drivers that came past him. I mean, Wayne Gross is on the outside, and he's going to try to force Wayne around, and Wayne holds his own. So, yeah, he gets it back on track and is able to manage to keep 4th out of that match.
That's checked out the whole field behind. Look at Matthew McKeegan trying to have a run on Greg Wachinski down to the turn 8. 41 car gets the pass done. Also coming in, John Smathers. He makes contact with Wachinski right at the apex. First rear ended, then made door-to-door contact. Hoffman's trying to go around the outside of Wachinski into the carousel. He is somehow going to make that one work out. That's a shocker for the 92 car. Going side by side with the carousel is something, but then complete the pass on the outside. That's a whole other ball game altogether. Good grief.
Yeah, looks like that 5 machine of Greg Wachinski got attacked from everywhere, and then Wayne Grossi goes off track, and he loses 2 or 3 positions. He probably could lose more than that. He's got Clayton Hoffman coming up pretty strong here. If he can outbrake him in this corner, he'll get him on the inside, and he's not able to do so yet. But he's still on the bumper. He is still on the bumper of Wayne Grossi in that 7 machine. Clayton Hoffman is going to do what he can. In the meantime, Greg Wachinski is caught up to Clayton Hoffman. These guys are battling. This is the tightest we've seen it in a while. This is only 3 laps into this second stage.
Only 3 laps in. Josh Smathers and Matthew McKeegan are looking racy, trying to run down Kenny Powell as well, just up in front. I think Smathers is going to have a bit of a tough issue here getting to sort of Wayne Grossi. Is issuing the order to Hoffman to let him through, but Hoffman is not really feeling like he wants to. Oh, look out for Wachinski, who tried to throw his way up the inside as well.
He tried to follow him through there, didn't he? And Wayne Grossi shut the door on him.
I was like, no, I don't want this guy to get through. You're not welcome. Oh, but he's going to go through here. Grossi locks it up. Wachinski gets the run, but goes off. So does Hoffman. Hoffman, of course, just in front. Here comes Belmonte with a head of steam. Going to get around Grossi as well. Now trying to chase down that number 5 car to run down for turn 5. Best passing opportunity so far today on the track.
Now, those are mistakes that you cannot make. You cannot afford to make. But Clayton Hoffman's gathered to back up, and he's just going to try to get back in the mix of things. As he's got Corey Cook, the 61 machine, in his rear view mirror. He's just got to keep it on the track.
Some amazing racing I've seen. This is by far the best road course race we have ever seen in a very long time here in the ISCA. These guys are doing a phenomenal job of just holding their own out there.
Yeah, everybody's being pretty respectful. In the meantime, Noah Bitts has, oh, there's somebody off track in the gravel. Noah Bitts has got himself a 4-second gap between second place, and he's just smooth sailing. He's on his Sunday drive.
And that he does. Bitts has walked away with the 4.8 seconds, and the gap is still climbing. Got battles going on for 9th and 10th. Hoffman makes the pass on Wayne Grossi. Grossi tries to come back on the exit of the King. Is not successful. Also close, 3rd and 4th of Keenan Massey and Austin Greer still trying to sort that battle out as well. So all of these little battles are now starting to separate up into their own little groupings there on the track. So it might not be as chaotic as the end of stage 2 was.
Well, Nolan, you have a little insight. Each one of these little areas on Road America has unique names for it. Let's do a ride along with Clayton Hoffman, and as he comes in a little area, give us a little details on the area of the turns he's in.
I started off here, of course, with Clayton Hoffman. I'm trying to find him myself here. This is number 92. So across start finish line, that alone is a difficult area to go. You go over a crest, the car gets light, downhill braking zone. This is the fastest braking zone on the track. You're going as fast as here through turn 1, click the apex, nice and easy. Push out to the left. Don't really be terribly brave though in these cars. It's very easy to send them around. Light down the brake zone into 3, not really a passing zone, but you see some drivers attempting to go for it if they're brave enough. Now this is where we're going to the best passing opportunity on the track. You can see the battle between Wachinski and Belmonte up in front. You get such a big runner draft down this back straightaway here. Watching Wachinski, see up front, gonna go for the move around Belmonte into this downhill braking zone. One of the easiest corners on the track to overshoot. We've seen it done so many times today where you duck it in hard to the left, the tightest corner on the track. This is one of the more difficult corners as well. You're coming up over a crest. The back gets light, and you're braking, and you're turning all at the same time. Super easy to step that back end out. This is a fun corner. 90-degree left-hander. Other than that, pretty nondescript for turn 7. Now down the hurry down straight. Understandably so. It's, of course, once again, hard braking zone. 90-degree left-hand kink. This is where we dub the speed section here in the commentary world. A carousel, a long sweeping carousel. One driver abuses that carousel in front. That smatters that goes off course. But Hoffman, look at the speed he is closing in. Keeps that apex in nice and tight. That was good. Take a wide entry right in the middle of the corner, then duck it in tight for Davis. You get a good run down for the King. One of the funnest corners in all of motorsport. You duck your way through the King, toward down the straight that is not a straight in the run for Canada Corner. Now Will Belmonte had that run on Wachinski coming down into Canada Corner turn 12. Doesn't look like he's even close to make the move. Hoffman, though, could try to go for the over-under. This is a corner where you can really go for the over-under quite nicely. Then, of course, up through the nondescript 13 and 14 to finish out the lap.
And there we are at 14 turns at Road America. Thank you for bringing that information to us so we can all enjoy that. Let's get back to this thing. It looks like the battle is still going on with Justin Belmonte, Greg Wachinski, and Clayton Hoffman as they mind their P's and Q's. And Smathers is kind of out of the picture there. He's running behind. Is he running behind Wayne Grossi, or is he running behind Clayton Hoffman?
I wouldn't know what to tell you there. I'll take a look back, see if I can find it here. He's running behind. We're talking about Smathers here? He's not behind either. He's behind Hoffman. Speaking of Hoffman, he's making a pass on Justin Belmonte. He goes down the inside of the turn 3. Just talking about this. Not necessarily a turn where you go for the dive. He's about to find out why. Belmonte will be able to get a good run on them down through turn 5 because he compromises his turn 3 entry.
In the meantime, we've got Noah Bitts, who's gained himself about a second and a half in front of Braxton Deweese in that 3 machine. And he is now 5.7 seconds ahead of second place. It looks like Clayton Hoffman is trying to go to the inside and battling with Greg Wachinski for, looks like it's going to be 8th position. Clayton Hoffman is working himself back through the field.
Hoffman is working his way up through the order. Also battling out. McKeegan just made a pass on Kenny Powell for P6 on the course. The 24 car able to get a good run out, though. But Matt McKeegan so far holds that 6th position out there on the track.
Nolan, we have, looks like 5 or 6 drivers that are on pit road. David Gervais in the 55 machine, Dan Shamoon in the 23 machine, and the call it a night would be the 4 machine of Brian Johnson, the 73 of Tim Widget, and the 127 of Chuck Phillips, and the 2 of Philip Rederich.
Coming up to halfway through stage number 2. Halfway in the race, excuse me. Coming to the final lap of stage number 2. Noah Bitts just coming up over and over the hill to take that white flag on this second stage before we go green flag racing until the end of the race. So if these guys want to have a run here at those final stage points, that battle between 8th, 9th, and 10th, if that ends in a wreck, guys like Josh Mathis could have a chance to maybe go for a precious half a point.
We've got Kenny Powell, who Clayton Hoffman's got his windshield looking like he's heading towards him right now. Let's see if he can make it to Kenny Powell and take away, it looks like 7th.
We've also got Belmonte and Wachinski about to go side by side into turn 1. Belmonte's going to try the lunge into the turn 1. Pushes a bit wide, but Wachinski's able to hold him back. Oh, and Belmonte slides out. He slams the tires. What did I tell you? Oh, look out!
Oh, he gets pegged.
Hard.
Oh, it's a hard call from there. So it looks like Justin Belmonte, and was that Smathers? Smathers got involved in that, I believe.
Hard hits for a lot of drivers, and because of that, Wayne Rossi and Chris Johnson are now going to be the battle to watch for that final position out there on the track for the stages.
Yeah, the 20 of Josh Smathers came around a very blind corner, and he could do no maneuvering and just got plowed, T-boned Belmonte, and he took his car to the garage.
That doesn't really surprise me there, to be completely frank with you. Coming up to the end of stage number 2, Noah Bitts coming through the kink for the final time today before we get into the third and final stage on the night.
Yeah, so far, Nolan, it looks like my pick to win the race tonight. This might be my lucky night, as well as Noah Bitts. It might finally break that losing streak I got going on picking the winners of the races. So, best of luck to Noah Bitts, and no mistakes. It just takes one error to ruin this race for you.
Noah Bitts coming through that final corner in the run-up towards start-finish. Noah Bitts will take a very easy win for stage number 2. Win stage back-to-back. We'll try to get a talk maybe with Braxton DeWeese. We already talked to Bitts once. We'll see if we can get maybe your stage 2 runner-up this time around of DeWeese. The battle for 4th, though, coming to the final corner now. That is still looking nice and hot.
Kenny Powell and Clayton Hoffman. Here goes our stage 2, and stage 2 winner is Noah Bitts. And as they come across the start-finish line, it'll be Noah Bitts, Braxton DeWeese, Keenan Massey, Jacob Grant, Matthew McKeegan, Austin Greer, Kenny Powell, Clayton Hoffman, Greg Wachinski, and running out the top 10 will be Justin Belmonte.
I tell you what an insane stage 2, just like stage 1 was. Let's take a quick break here, and we'll be back just in time for yellow flag pit stops under the stage 2 caution.
ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Get yours today at TheButtKicker.com and be sure to use our 20% discount promo code ISCA20. ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Get yours today at TheButtKicker.com and be sure to use our 20% discount promo code ISCA20.
We're back for the RockAuto 125 at Road America. Under the second stage caution on the day for stage number 2. What a race it has been so far. It has been absolutely insane so far, Al.
It absolutely has. And I'm trying right now to get a hold of our second place stage winner, Braxton DeWeese. So bear with us a minute while I try to make contact with Braxton DeWeese so we can have a chat with him about his second place finish.
So to recap the stage 2 results, you got yourself Noah Bitts, Braxton DeWeese, Keenan Massey, Jacob Brandt, Matthew McKeegan, Austin Greer, Kenny Powell, Clayton Hoffman, Greg Wyszynski, and Wayne Rossi. For the stage 2 results, the leaders have, meanwhile, caught the tail end of the pacing line. So this is looking like it might be quite an entertaining race coming on up for us here in very short order. Looks like we have gotten your stage 2 winner on the stage 2 runner up, on the line. Braxton DeWeese, they'll ramp up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I do.
Well, Braxton, runner up for stage 2, and it's been a roller coaster for you. Fell down so far in stage 1, and you've been on a recovery drive ever since. But you're back up to second where you started. You reckon you could go for one more?
If I can stay consistent with my lap times and not make mistakes like I did before, like y'all saw. I feel like I could be close behind his bumper, but I don't know if we can have anything for him. But I guess we'll see right here.
Al, why don't you take it away here?
Braxton, this is Al. It only takes one little mistake, so I mean, don't get yourself down because all you have to do is hope and pray and watch, and keep the pressure on Noah, and he can make a mistake like we've seen so many drivers this race so far. You just have to keep yourself clean. Any changes you might make during this pit stop to kind of give you an opportunity to win this thing? Because you got to make a fuel stop here.
I'm just going to put 4 new Goodyears on it and see where we'll go from there. I don't really know how to do adjustments on road courses yet, but the car feels really good. So, I mean, we know tweaks here and there, but you know, I don't think it's too good enough to be able to be better than Noah. But well, we just jumped them right there, so we'll be starting first. Hopefully, we can keep that position and keep them behind us.
Yeah, you just got to outbrake him. Outbrake him, Braxton. Outbrake him. So good luck on the last stage here, and you guys are going to have about 16 laps.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. Hope you all enjoy.
Thank you, buddy. We'll move you back down now.
And in the meantime, Noah Bitts, very unfortunate news for the 87 car. He just got black flagged for an unsafe pit exit. And the reason for this, Al, is because you see that yellow line right on the exit pit road? You got to stay to the right of that yellow line until it ends. He crossed over it immediately after exiting pit road. So that...
There goes my pick to win the race.
The curse continues, huh?
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. I mean, just so you think this couldn't get any more dramatic. It keeps on ramping up, doesn't it? So We'll take a quick run through. We'll take a look at the current ButtKicker mid-race race break. Braxton DeWeese, currently your race leader now after jumping Noah Bitts in pit road. Of course, Bitts is going to be serving an end of the longest line penalty after being slammed with the black flag. So that's going to put Keenan Maxey up for the second. Jacob Grant will be third. Matthew McKeegan will be fourth. Austin Greer will be fifth. Kenny Powell sixth. Wojcinski seventh. Rossi eighth. Chris Johnson ninth. With Corey Cook in 10th place. Then comes Robert Pattengill, Clayton Hoffman, Connor Mulligan, Glenn Ballard, Randy Drumhiller, Seth Hollander, Kyle Labrie, Michael Grant, and Paul Olson. There is Will Barlow, Justin Monty, and David Gervais in the pit road still. Whereas Josh Smathers, Dan Shamoon, Brian Johnson, Chuck Phillips, Timothy Swiggett, and Philip Radowicz to round out the field.
Yeah, those last 5-6 drivers, they've already taken their cars to the garage, and they're going to call it a night. So let's take a quick break, quick commercial break, and let's give thanks to our sponsors.
coming to green for stage 3 of the RockAuto 125. Some slight apologies there on some slight issues there. We're still working on some technical things with our A2VO here. Of course, our producer, Rob Melnick, doing a good job trying to get them all resolved for you and give you guys the best viewing experience that we can. So, Al, what are your thoughts here as we enter the third and long stage of the night? They're going to be 3 laps shy of a full run.
Absolutely. I was just admiring Nolan, that pace car. What is that pace car?
Say again?
I was just looking at the pace car we got in front of the field here. What is that?
A Porsche 911 GT3. That's what it is.
That thing is hauling the mail. I mean, these guys can't keep up with it in these turns. That just shows you how heavy these cup cars are, and they can't maneuver as well as that. But we're getting ready to go green. Back to the excitement. As we got, it looks like Braxton Weiss and Keenan Massey are going to start this field off. And let's see who gets an early jump here. They come up the hill, and the 3's on the inside, and he gets a great jump.
Back underway for the third and final stage on the night. Behind, Noah Bitts trying to go 3 wide with the ZOL penalty. Already blitzed the field up 5 spots. Oh, and he spins! The 87 car goes around and slams the wall. That is probably going to be day done for the 87 machine, and in fact it is. Unfortunately, Al, your curse continues. Seth Hollander has also bended hard into the tire barrier, got completely stuck in there with the 10. Still stuck in, as a matter of fact. Up front, though, Braxton Weiss pulling away from Keenan Massey just in behind. The battle goes on with Clayton Hoffman and Chris Johnson side by side as Johnson gets into the grass and into the wall. Oh, heads up as well. Look out for Wojcinski. Sliding down. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Johnson's up and over. A huge crash from the 48 car. Got into the grass. Couldn't slow down. Slammed into the tire barriers. Complete rollover for the 48. Corey Cook's around. Almost say Wojcinski is around. What is going on at the start of stage 3?
That is just not any way to start this race stage. These guys have just got out of control, and it's still going on. I mean, these guys are still slipping and sliding everywhere.
We have got to get a look of Chris Johnson if we can in the 48. What happened was he was side by side with the car behind. He ended up getting into the grass, and when he hit the braking zone, he could not slow down. So he slammed the brakes, but just couldn't go anywhere. So he saw this sideways at about 100 miles an hour into the tire barriers and just flipped over entirely. That was absolutely insane. I've never seen that happen here before.
Yeah, I told you, if you get any part of your tires in that grassy area, you are going around. And in his case, he went around and he caught a little turf there and he flipped the car.
Good grief. So you just saw, or are seeing, a look of that incident with Chris Johnson on camera. It was Hoffman who was beside, by the way, coming down into turn number 5. You also saw just up in front, Wojcinski had made the same mistake, got into the grass, but he slammed into the left side wall, and gosh, that is a hard lick. So that has really split the field up in a big way, wouldn't you say?
That absolutely did. That checkup probably cost some of those guys back in 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th about 10 seconds.
Jacob Grant's just been dumped out of 3rd place. He is off course and falling outside of the top 5. Had to go wide and walk up to avoid hitting the back of, I believe it was Keenan Massey. Now Matt McKeegan looking to be under fire from Austin Greer. This is now the battle for 3rd.
Yeah, they are battling really well here. Keenan and Jacob are for 2nd and 3rd here. As long as they can keep themselves together, it appears the pattern here is the car that's chasing you is the one that gets the car in front of it loose. So let's just hope that they can keep themselves under control. They have to stop driving out of that rear view mirror. Don't worry about the driver behind you. Just listen to your spotter, and you'll be all fine.
Robert Paghill's had a wreck somehow in the middle of a straightaway. It looks like he was trying to get around Kyle Labrie, ended up dipping 2 wheels on the grass, actually hit the cheese sign and slid all across the track and then hit the left side wall as well. He's currently getting it turned around and is going to be back on course. That's an interesting incident, though, from Robert Paghil. He's been so clean all day long as well.
Well, some of these guys know that this is it. I mean, they have got literally about 13 laps left in this race, and they need to try to get up as high as they can. And that's not the right strategy at this course. I mean, you really have to be patient, hit all your marks, and finish this race clean. And where the chips fall is where they land. I mean, don't press your luck, as we've just seen with, with Noah and Clayton Hoffman and Brian Johnson and Chris Johnson. We've seen all these drivers that have came up in here and raced like they normally would race, very hard, and it cost them dearly.
P3 is still looking tight. Matthew McKeegan and Austin Greer looking to do battle. Greer trying to find the inside into the final corner. It's not going to work for him, though. He's got to keep it steady. Going to be able to push wider, though, through the exit. Matthew McKeegan is going to be able to get a run off from turn number 3. So this is going to be an interesting battle. Coming down this very long pit straightaway before headed down for turn 1. Might be able to get him in turn 5 as well. Don't reckon he's close enough. Definitely not close enough into turn 1 here.
Well, all Austin has to do is keep the pressure on Matthew. And if Matthew's driving out of that rearview mirror, he's going to make a mistake. And Austin can capitalize on it. But I just hear some damage behind. Somebody must either blew up or wrecked behind Austin Greer.
I'm not seeing anything in the back, so it might have just been one of those cars blown up in pit row that was already sitting there for some time. That's the only possible explanation I can think for it. Speaking of cars in pits, Kyle Labrie has taken his machine into the 51 car. I don't know if this is for an early stop or if he's elected to. That's interesting. He took a stop. He took fuel only. Kyle Labrie just came into his pits, took a 6-second fuel stop, and to go. He's making that pit stop, but have to make it early, so he's good to go to the end from here, I think.
Yeah, that's an interesting strategy, and that might have been what I was thinking. I just didn't want to say it. Let's see how that works for the 51 machine of Kyle Labrie. That might be the race-winning move. I don't know. It depends on how far away first and second get from him, if that's going to be a strategy that's going to work for him or not. On a short track, I would say very smart. On this 4-mile track, I don't know. But let's keep an eye on the 51 machine of Kyle Labrie and see how that early pit stop fuel only plays out.
The fuel strategy is certainly interesting when you take a look at it, man. These guys are now running 75% fuel tanks. It used to be 100. But that does force a pit stop for fuel in the later stages of the race. Remember, they had 16 laps for this third stage, and unfortunately, there was only 13 laps in the tanks. They're only 3 laps shy. Seth Holder is off course. You just saw the battle for third and fourth pass by him. Battle's starting to close on up. But watching Deweese as well, he has not been able to break away from Keenan Massey. I'm more focused as well on the battle for third place, just behind it with Austin Greer trying to run down Matthew McKeegan.
Yeah, let's see. We got Clayton Hoffman has worked his way back up. Now he is in the rear mirror of Kenny Powell right now. Let's see how this plays out.
A lot of different battles that we're currently taking focus on at the moment. We'll take a look back at this one between Hoffman and Powell. It is at the moment the closest thing on the track. We'll let you know if any of that changes, then we'll switch to the one that is the closest, obviously. That's what we're looking for at the moment. For now, Clayton Hoffman certainly applying the pressure to the 24 car. I tell you what, that G&G Toyota Camry, he's not going to be able to hold him off for very long.
Now, Clayton Hoffman is thinking, championship points right now. He doesn't care if he wins this race or not. He needs to keep that big lead of championship points. So he's trying to get up there as far as he can. And it looks like Kenny Powell in the 24 machine is going to let him have it on the outside as he backs off a little bit. And now Clayton Hoffman goes to the outside and passes, and he's got a windshield full of, I believe that's Jacob Grant.
Hey, if Kenny's running 7th place right now. That's better than he usually runs at a full field of cars like this. I'm pretty sure he'll take a 7th place. That'll definitely be a good haul of points for the 24 car, coming out of today. So, no doubt he's enjoying himself, kind of getting things sorted as well as we continue to watch these various battles play on out. At the moment, we really got these 2 separate battles on course. You got 1st and 2nd, which is just under a second away. Then you have 3rd and 4th, which is much closer, just about 1/4 of a second, though it extends about half when you get down to these longer straightaways.
Yeah, I don't see anybody else kind of breaking at all. I've been watching the field to see if anybody's going to try to make an early pit stop, as Kyle Labrie did, and nobody is taking that opportunity. So I think these guys are trying to get as far away from each other as they can before they stop, and we may see some more just fuel-only stops.
I mean, when you think about it, you could go for the 4 tires, but can you realistically run up we're talking like 5 seconds. Can you realistically run like 6, 7 seconds a lap faster than in just 3 laps? I mean, you have to reel in another 7 seconds, so you need to be able to run those 7 seconds in 3 laps to make the fuel stop worth it, or to make the 4 tires worth it. Excuse me. So,
well, if you're taking a full tank of fuel, Nolan, you might as well take the tires. I mean, you're already sitting there getting the tank full. You might as well get, even right sized.
It does take slightly longer to get a full tank of gas than to get 4 tires on. Actually, I think it takes longer to get 4 tires on, but it doesn't make sense to go for the full service altogether. Looking back, Clayton Hoffman has reeled in Jacob Grant for 5th, so the 992's recovery drive continues after getting his earlier pole sitter, trying to fight his way back into the top 5.
Yeah, Clayton Hoffman is still roughly about 9 seconds behind our leader, Braxton DeWeese, at this moment. So he's got a long road ahead of him, and the only thing he can hope for is that there's some mistake that's made in the top 5 cars in front of him. Because if they wreck each other, they get into an incident, that 9 seconds can shrink up extremely fast. I mean, it could go from 9 seconds to 2 seconds, and that's all Clayton Hoffman needs.
Coming to 11 laps to go this next time by. Hoffman is really pressuring Grant at the moment, trying to find the inside through the carousel. If the 92 car can actually go for it here, I think he is. He's going to try to poke the nose in. Cannot quite get there. He'll have to sort this one out here on this next straightaway. Gets a good run out of the exit of the carousel, but he wants to wait. Don't go side to the kink. Oh, better line though for Hoffman. He's going to have to come again for sure.
Well, again, here's that pressure. Clayton Hoffman's putting pressure on Jacob Grant. If he's right in the rearview mirror, he's going to wreck in one of these turns. The smart move is if Jacob can just keep his composure, race out of his windshield. With the drafting that they got together, they should be able to catch the cars in front of them.
Up through 14. The only problem I have with that really... Oh, there you go. Jacob Grant just called out. He is pitting in this time by. That allows Hoffman to retake 4th. Now, will Grant go for the 4 tires for fuel or fuel only? Obviously, 2 tires are not a strategy you ever want to take on a road course. So, we'll watch Jacob Grant here as he comes down towards his pit box.
I'm going to guess he's going to take fuel only. He's only got roughly about 11 laps left. Let's see if he changes all 4 and gets fuel.
There's pit box there.
And there goes, yeah, he's getting tires.
Well, that settles it. 4 tires and fuel is the way to go.
Well, that's the way Jacob Grant went. I don't know if that's the right call. We're still going to watch the 51 machine of Kyle Labrie and see how he does with that fuel-only stop.
Well, not too good. He's already gone off a couple of times since that stop. He's still sitting down in 15th place. And he is it's also worth doing as well. He is about a solid minute or so back from Jacob Grant. So that fuel-only stop has not really helped him out all too much, has it?
I didn't think it was going to be the right call. I kind of was guessing and saying maybe, but it doesn't look like it's the right call. Kyle Labrie might have shot himself in the foot. He may be coming back down pit road to take those tires after all.
Jacob Grant has a run on Corey Cook coming down to turn 5. Look at the overspin of the 18. Going to take this one around the outside into the braking zone. Corey Cook slots back in line, and Jacob Grant on the fresh rubber is able to just power through like Cook was standing still.
He's got roughly about 20 seconds before he can get back up into the lead of this thing, and that is a long road ahead of him. I mean, this is a very big track to make up 20 seconds, but he might have enough time. I mean, he's got 10 laps. If he can knock off a second and a half, 2 seconds lap times from the leader, he could get back in the lead. Now, Jacob Grant, his pit, I'm going to say was a very smart move because he was close enough to the front of this field, and he's going to come across. Let's see when he comes across the start-finish line, how far behind a leader he is. If he's still within, 30 seconds. He might be just fine.
Hell, I got news. Your top two and Clayton Hoffman have all come down and pitted at the exact same time. So Braxton Deweese is in, Keenan Massey is in, so is Clayton Hoffman. That allows McKeegan and Greer up into the lead for now. Deweese is going to be taking tires, so will Massey. I expect Hoffman to be doing the same here. And sure enough, he will in the number 92 car. So we got two battles on the track. Got Matt McKeegan versus Austin Greer for the on-track net race lead, but not the net race lead. Wayne Gross and Randy Drummond have actually getting pretty close the last few laps as well. They're also looking feisty over in their own battle for what is looking to be 7th and 8th when everything cycles back through.
Yeah, that put Jacob is 46 seconds behind the leader right now. And I think Clayton Hoffman just came off pit road, and he is in front of Jacob Grant.
Yeah, that's no surprise. It's not by much, granted. Clayton Hoffman is only out there by about half a second, so he did not beat him out by much. I'll give him that. Up front, the battle is on for the on-track race lead, but not the net race lead. Austin Greer has closed in Matthew McKeegan in a big way and is now threatening for, I believe this will be for 4th position. Everything cycles back out. Look at Greer with the overspeed. Bad back off before he runs McKeegan over, and he's going to lose that run in the run to Canada.
Oh, they're battling. Clayton Hoffman is battling with Jacob Grant back here for 10th and 11th. I mean, they're swapping positions here back and forth.
A lot of different battles to look at the moment. On course, you got Hoffman's little fight as well, which it looks like it's going to be sorting itself out as Glenn Ballard goes off course. Jacob Grant is going to go through as well. Oh, and McKeegan has just lost the spot, but that was after contact with Austin Greer. Check that he has kept on to the position, but Austin Greer actually gave McKeegan a little bit of a shot, but from the sounds of it, no hard feelings between the two. They're both down the pit road now. Or check that McKeegan is. Austin Greer stayed out for another lap.
Yeah, I don't know what the plan is here. We've got a couple drivers that are staying out, and we currently only have 16 drivers on the lead lap.
So at the moment, everybody ahead of Matthew McKeegan and Braxton Deweese are all up there on old tires that they're going to have to come in and stop at least once throughout the rest of the night. Take a look back. Glenn Ballard, Keenan Massey, and Jacob Grant are all looking close. They just passed by Seth Hull, and there's already a lap down. Ballard's going to pull it into pit road. That was the fight between Grant and Massey. Currently duking it out on course. And they're going to catch up Michael Grant here. Right on pit exit. Grant's going to slow up, let them both through. Matt McKeegan comes out in front of both of them. Looking like 8 laps to go. This next time by here at the line now. This is he's just really gone through in a hurry. So Ballard is in. Pattengale is also in at the moment. A lot of different drivers are electing to make this pit stop about halfway through the stint, I'm noticing. None of them are electing to really take a long, and apart from Kyle Labrie, nobody's taking it short either. So that kind of shows that a lot of these people are more thinking, go halfway, come in, get it filled up. No point in going longer. You're only going to lose yourself time.
Yeah, the smart move is to take all four. It looks like it didn't do Kyle Labrie any good by just taking fuel only. So the smart move is going to be 4 tires and full tank of fuel.
That's the issue with the fuel-only strategy when it comes to road courses. Well, yes, you save about 7 seconds in the pit road. At the same time, you lose those 7 seconds within 2 laps of being on track compared to somebody on fresh tires.
Yeah, you're definitely doing a lot of braking here, so you want those fresh tires because that gives you the ability to abuse them a little bit more than worn-out tires. So, yeah, I guess the smart move is fresh tires and a full tank of fuel.
Kenny Powell comes into pit road from second. That allows Gross and Drumheller to duke it out for second place at the moment on course. They, of course, get to come down to pit. So does Austin Greer, who is still running out in front by about 16 seconds at the moment. So he's got about a pit stop's length on Wayne Gross and Drumheller just behind him. But I tell you what, that's going to go away in a hurry here as soon as these two guys come in and pit. I'm surprised they haven't come in and pit yet. I think they're taking the strategy of just run it dry and maybe have the car be lighter and therefore a little bit faster at the end of the run, but I don't think that's really going to play off for them.
We'll find out what their strategy is here. I don't know. They can only do like 13 or 14 laps on a field run here, so they've got to start coming in here. They can't run it to the end.
No, they absolutely cannot. That's been one thing that these guys have been having to worry about so far all day long is, when do you make that stop to come down a pit road? And a lot of these guys have decided to go for the half and half, and it does make some sense when you think about it. I mean, you're not going to gain anything by staying out there. You may as well come on in when the tires are at their peak and then just get them on the peak again for the remainder of the race. So you've got this battle between Grassi and Drumheller. That's starting to split apart, though. I'd like to look back to Keenan Massey and Matthew McKeegan. Massey has really reeled in the 41 car and is now really applying the pressure to McKeegan's 41 forward. Oh, we're going to try the inside here for 6, but that was a little bit dicey there for him.
Well, Austin Greer's got a huge 16-second gap between him and second place. That's tremendous. I mean, if he could pit, he can almost pit. If he makes a perfect pit, he'll still come out in first, second, or third position.
Still waiting on McKeegan and Massey to see how this battle is going to shape up. Talking about this has been one absolutely amazing race, and if you want to see more of this, I mean, make sure to leave a good old like on the video if you're watching on YouTube, and if you happen to be watching us either on YouTube or Twitch, you can go on over and give us a good old follow or a subscribe, whichever one suits your fit.
Here comes Wayne Grassi on pit road. Wayne Grassi in the 7 machine hitting pit road.
And his car is torn up as well. Something's happened to the number 7 here, Al. He is missing a front hood that he was not missing a couple laps ago. So I'm going to go back and try to find it here. It was on sometime on lap 24 that convinced him to come down. He was in that battle, remember, with Randy Drumheller. I don't think there was... No, turn 8. Just went too deep, overshot, went head on into the tire barriers. That's why he's coming in. So 5th and 6th at the moment, Matthew McKeegan and Keenan Massey looking to do battle. You still have 2 drivers that need to come in, Randy Drumheller and Austin Greer still up in front, looking to have a good run of things here as they come down towards turn number 5. Massey closes on up, and Matthew McKeegan, oh, Massey's going to go for it. McKeegan's forced wide. Keenan Massey shoves the door open, going to go to the inside of the 41 car, has the line for a 6. McKeegan backs off to give him the position. That was a very, very brave lunge for Keenan Massey, but he made that one clean. Fair play to the 47.
I think we're going to see Austin Greer and Randy Drumheller coming down pit road at least in another lap here because they can't go much farther. Austin Greer is riding these rumble strips to death. I don't know if he's beating up his suspension or what he's doing here, but he's doing everything he can to try to get more of a gap between him and second place. And I don't think it's going to work. He's not coming in this time. He has to come in either, he can maybe do 14 laps. I mean, so he has to come in next time by, or he can go one more lap. He can probably go 2 laps maybe, but that's pushing it.
Still looking at this battle for 5th, 6th, and 7th at the moment on the track, which will likely actually shape up for the final spots in the podium if this plays out the way I think it might. This has been one good fight, and now you got Jake LeGrand in the 18 car trying to throw his way into the mix as well. It's worth noting, not a single one of these cars is completely clean. All of these guys have damage on them from various different incidents, beating and banging throughout the race. And Keenan Massey does not get a good run. Here comes the mobile one for Mustang, and Matthew McKeegan gonna have all the draft in the world to help him out down this front straightaway. 41's closing. He's looking. Backs off, decides not to go for it. I think he's going to try to set him up here for turn 5, and fair play to McKeegan. What he's going to do, set him up for turn 5, because he knows you cannot really pass anywhere else on this track. Brandon Drummer, by the way, take him down a pit. So this battle is now going up for 4th place. McKeegan cuts it in. Can he get the run? That's what he needs right now. He needs all the run in the world to help him out here down this very long straightaway. Second longest straight on the track. Oh, I don't think he's going to get there. He is not close enough to have this lunge down to the turn 5.
I'm starting to see signs. I think Austin, the leader, is going to come on pit road this time by. He's really having a struggle getting around these turns.
He fends off Grant behind now. He's having to focus a little bit more on defense now than he is on offense. I mean, Keenan Massey starting to pull away really good in this middle section on the track. This is where Massey is strongest. David Grant now is starting to apply the pressure to the 41 car. We might see a swap for 6th and 7th here real shortly.
Well, let's look back at Kyle Labrie, who just went off road here. It's definitely a no-no for fuel only to this track. It's not going to help him at all. Let's see if this time by, if Austin Greer comes down pit road, and he elects to not come down pit road. If he makes it past this next lap, I would be in awe. He's going to run out before he gets back to pit road.
He's only been at the 12 laps. He has the room to run at least one more, maybe 2 if he's really brave. He's running that tank, though, until it's dry. That's his strategy there. He's trying to play the long game here. To be fair, he's over a minute in front of Wayne Grossi. However, he's only 35 seconds in front of Keenan Massey, and the pit stop delta is roughly 45 to 46 seconds. He is going to be going all the way back to 6th place at this rate.
And Nolan, he's just not going to have enough time. I mean, once he pits and comes off pit road, he's not going to have enough time left in the race to get back up to the lead of this thing with those fresh tires. He waited a little bit too long.
Oh, look out. Heads up. Jacob Grant in the battle for 5th, 6th, 7th has just had a big off right behind. Also, Massey locks up into turn 1. So it's a 2-horse fight now with Jacob Grant out of it after locking up and running really wide in turn 1. Massey is all over the place, though. That pressure from McKeegan is starting to get to him. McKeegan looks for it. But Massey defends nicely, so no dice for the 41 for now. He has to stay in line. He has to find a way to get through here cleanly. But even he's starting to lose the back end of the car as well. You saw right there, twitching it under the acceleration as well. Oh, and Massey is starting to once again pull away. I think that 41 car is going to have, or the 47 is going to have this fight in the bag.
But I'm just kind of watching around our Austin Greer, our leader here, and he is squirrely all over the place, Nolan. I don't know what he's got to pit. I mean, he's got to pit soon, otherwise he's going to be in trouble for that. Those tires are letting him down big time. He's coming down pit road as we speak. Leader Austin Greer is coming down pit road.
So Austin Greer is in for his pit stop. Look at the battle, though, for 4th and 5th. It is still nice and tight. We'll see where Greer cycles out here in a moment, but for now, Matt McKeegan and Keenan Massey still looking to do battle. This is at the moment one of the only fights got on course. We've also got Jacob Grant and Kenny Powell shortly behind these guys. We'll take a glance back at that in just a few moments if this doesn't pick up any further. Greer loses out on the lead. He loses out on 3rd. Here comes Massey and McKeegan up the hill. Going to be going down to 5th, maybe even as far as 7th place. Austin Greer takes fuel only, so he's taking a fuel only stop at the end of this race. Taking the Kyle Labrie strategy, still though going to lose out all the way back to 5th, but could be worse.
Yeah, he might as well. He's got 3 laps left. He might as well just use them tires up and fuel only.
And Clayton Hoffman is in the race lead. Both he and Braxton DeWeese slid way off course. DeWeese went off twice. He went off at turn 1, and then again at turn 3, where Clayton Hoffman also went off. So Hoffman up in front for the battle for the overall race lead. This battle for 4th, 5th, though, it's still the one to watch.
Yeah, this race is not over by no means. This is literally anybody's race. I mean, if Clayton Hoffman or Braxton make a mistake, I mean, we've got Keenan can come up in the mix of this, Matthew, Jacob, anybody.
That 47 car is still under some serious fire from Keegan, and you know what? Keenan Massey has done such a great job to power through. He has been fending off every single move that Matt McKeegan has thrown at him from the start of this fight, way back when Stage 3 first started. He has not yielded in the slightest. He has been keeping the 41 at bay, and it's some great defensive drives we've seen from Massey. These are two guys that are both racing incredibly cleanly, all things considered. How long do you think it'll be until the gloves really come off? We've only got 3 laps to go.
Well, we watch these guys week after week after week, and some of these guys are new drivers to the ISCA league here, and they've adapted really well in the format of clean driving. These drivers respect each other, and they race each other with respect. They don't take anything from them, you know, but they don't give anything to them either. So I don't know if it's going to be any kind of a push and shove or, you know, stealing something. I think these guys are going to respect the positions and try to make clean passes.
Having a second back, McKeegan messed up his final turn at turn 14. This one last lap by, missed the apex and had to sacrifice a boatload of time. Still trying to reel in Mass though, and the chance is definitely still there. He can absolutely still have a run at this if he really wants to. So he's falling back a bit. Oh, look out, Massey swings wide now. Here comes McKeegan with the run. Out from turn number 3. Matt McKeegan gonna have all the run in the world down through this straightaway, and sure enough, Keenan Massey finally yields and lets himself back in line. It's not over yet, though. I mean, you still got 2.5 laps to go for this fight here with 41 and the 47. So Keenan Massey still has a chance here if McKeegan makes a mistake, which is definitely very possible. I mean, look at Braxton Deweese. He takes the race lead away from Austin Greer in the pit stop cycle, and then immediately goes off 1 turn later, loses it to Clayton Hoffman.
Yeah, this definitely is Clayton Hoffman's race to lose. I mean, he just has to travel about 5 miles, and he won this race. Well, more than that, he's got about 8 miles, 9 miles, yeah, because he's got about 2 laps left in this race. 9 miles, that's all he's got to do. You know, and in about 5 minutes, if he keeps everything together, he'll be our race winner.
McKeegan is pulling away big time from Massey just behind, who's not going to have anything for him. At the moment, Massey has to worry about Austin Greer from catching him as well. That's the big thing at the moment that I think Massey is worried about. The 45 of Austin Greer has been slowly reeling in this gap as well as 45 Busch Mustang. So he's got a chance as well to work his way up there with just 2 laps to go. As well as this, in the middle of this as well, Kenny Powell and Randy Drumhill have been going at it as well. Powell lost that spot after losing it on the exit of the King, but managed to somehow hold it. Randy Drumhill takes away the 7th place. So Powell still seems if he can maybe get that back to come away with P7 at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I don't think we're going to see any cars at the end of this race that are going to have no damage. I mean, I think everybody has taken a trip off the race platform here at one point or another. So it's just road course racing. It absolutely is just road course racing. If you're consistent and race out of your windshield instead of your rearview mirror, you'll have a great race unless you get caught up in mayhem of somebody else.
And Randy Drumhill is going to pull away from Kenny Powell. So that, maybe not. Drumhill runs a little bit wide through 3. Powell gets a better line, but it won't be enough to get anywhere close to him. Kane Massey, though, is really reeled in Matthew McKeegan all of a sudden. So the 41 car seems to be struggling a little bit as well. Still trying to keep Massey behind. We are going to be coming to 1 lap to go this next time by. But this battle for P3 is still ain't out of the woods.
Yeah, most definitely. They're battling pretty hard here because, I mean, one more position is difference between 15 points, or they could get a lot of points for that one position. So you don't ever want to get off the gas until you absolutely know you're done. So we're coming to the white flag, and Clayton Hoffman is on his last lap. So he needs to keep that car on the track. He's got a comfortable 4-second lead in front of Braxton DeWeese in a number 3 car for second. And Braxton has a very comfortable 6-second gap between him and Matthew McKeegan, which, like we said many times during this broadcast, that 6 seconds could shrink dramatically if you make an error. You go off track, you spin out. Any mistakes you make, you have to be consistent. And Braxton's closed his lead to Clayton Hoffman at 2.5 seconds. So, I mean, it's not all over. If Clayton Hoffman makes one little error, this is Braxton DeWeese's race to win.
So Hoffman is out in front, 3-second gap to DeWeese. And I mean, Hoffman has been so steady in this latter stage of the race. You'd be hard pressed to find a mistake for the 92 car. Of course, it ain't over till it's over, especially right around now. So there's still a lot of room to go here in this race.
And there goes second place, the number 3 car. He has made a tremendous error, and that's going to cost him dramatically. I bet Matthew McKeegan just squeezes right by him or closes in really. He probably lost 6, 7, 8 seconds on that little mishap.
And not as much. Only actually lost about 3 seconds there. It was a 4-tire lockup, yes, but he only slid a little bit wide than the rest of the field ever does coming through there. So altogether, very well held there from DeWeese. I mean, that could have been a heck of a lot worse than it ended up being. So McKeegan and Massey still trying to fight it out just behind. They're going to be able to get any closer, though. Clayton Hoffman coming around the carousel and through the kink for the last time today.
Very well managed. I can't believe Braxton had managed to pull that off and didn't lose that position. That was some wheeling right there. I mean, he just got to make about 5 more turns, and he's going to finish this thing out in second place, a good podium position.
Canada Corner, final time today. What a drive it has been for Clayton Hoffman. Such a roller coaster for both him and DeWeese. They both fell so far back, and they have both recovered so much. Clayton Hoffman got the pull, fell deep into the field. He worked his way back up to the front, and now he is going to win the RockAuto 125 here from Elkhart Lakes, Road America. What a deserving win for him.
That was a great run for Clayton Hoffman, and here comes Braxton DeWeese for second. And let's see what the battle's like with, looks like Matthew McKeegan's going to get the final podium position in third, and Keenan in the 47 machine is going to come in fourth.
Amazing run for everybody throughout this field. It's still going to be a couple minutes, by the way, until we get the full race results. We have a little bit of time to kill here, Al. Honestly, stage 3 ended up being a little bit more lackluster, I think. Not a lot of action. Of course, that you have to kind of blame that a lot of the cars is at turn 5 on the opening lap.
Absolutely, Nolan. We had 29 cars that started this field, 29 cars, and only 13 of them ended this race on the lead lap. And that was from either errors on the track, whether it be their fault or another driver's, or misjudging a corner. It looks like Kyle Labre's pit strategy. It cost him to be a lap down, finishing 14th. So we know, note to self, don't make just a fuel stop only on the Road America.
Waiting on 3 more drivers to cross the line. They are now coming up to the last of those drivers is coming into the Canada corner. It is Robert Pattengill. So I think at this point, Al, we're safe to start going through those final post-race results.
Well, we all just heard who our race winner is. It's that 92 machine of Clayton Hoffman, our points winner right now at the moment. The number 3 machine of Braxton DeWeese came in second, and the number 41 of Matthew McKeegan came in third. The 47 of Keenan Massey came in fourth. Austin Greer in the 45 machine came in fifth. Jacob Grant in the number 18 machine came in 6th. The 44 of Randy Drumhiller come in 7th. Kenny Powell in the 24 machine come in 8th. Wayne Grassi in the 7 machine come in 9th. And rounding out the top 10 is the 5 machine of Greg Wachinski.
In 11th place, Glenn Ballard brings it home with Corey Cook in 12th. Robert Pangill finishes out at 13th. Not a bad run for Pangill, all things considered. Finished 13th, top half of the field. First time he's done that since he began his ISCA career. Kyle Labrie sits in 14th with Will Barlow 15th. Michael Grant is in 16th with Paul Olsen 17th. Mulligan 18th. Hollander 19th with Noah Bitts rounding out the top 20.
And finishing out our field will be the 48 machine of Chris Johnson in the 21. He came in 21st, 16 laps down. The 12 machine of Justin Belmonte, 17 laps down, came in 22nd. Josh Smathers, 23rd. David Gervais, 24th. Dan Shamoon, 25th. Brian Johnson, 26th. Timothy Swiggett, 27th. Chuck Phillips, 28th. And Philippe Roderick come out running out the field with the 29th, 30 laps down. And that's going to conclude our race. Let's see if we can get a hold of some of these race winners in first, second, and third.
And we'll start things off at third and work our way up. So, Matthew McKeekin, Nolan Rampel up here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy with us?
Yes, sir. Do you got me?
Yes, we do. Well, Matthew, you bring it home. Final step on the podium. +3 for you started today. 13 seconds back, but you were certainly having one heck of a fight in the back there with Keenan Massey and Austin Greer throughout the entirety of that final run.
Yeah, I'm very new to the series, and it's my, third race, and I'm getting to know the names and really understanding the talent here. It's a jump up from what I'm used to. I'm just lucky I was in it today, and I just learned this track in the past 4 days.
Well, take a look at how the whole of the race went as a whole. I mean, this racetrack is one of the best, I would argue, when it comes to racing. You got the long straights, the hard braking zones. Do you like this track? And if you do, what would you say your favorite parts are about it?
I actually love it now. Now that I got it, and I love everything. I love the slow, technical turns, the 90-degree turns. I love the fast straightaways. The Canada turn is very tricky if you don't enter it in right. So, yeah, challenging, but a lot of fun if you got the wheels underneath you.
We look forward towards the championship. You came into this run in third place, about 33.5 points behind our current points leader, and 2-time in a row defending champion Clayton Hoffman. It's looking good for you so far in the championship. You bring home another third place today. How do you think that's going to shape up for you as we look forward into the season?
I just take it one race at a time at this point. You know, I might have a bad weekend next week. So, yeah, I'm just I practice a little bit and understand what the car is doing. And I just go out there and race it, you know.
And then before we let you go, then here, Matthew, anybody like to shout out for us here tonight?
Yeah, I appreciate ISCA, ButtKicker, all the sponsors, you guys in the booth. Awesome job. And I'm going to go watch the race. By the way, it's Matthew Mick Meekin.
Mick Meekin. So not McKeekin, like I've been saying. Oh, Mick. Oh, I see now. Okay. Thanks. Thank you for calling me out on broadcast about that. That's fun.
We threw an M in there somewhere, Matthew. He's been... But, you know, we do the best we can, buddy. It's nothing personal. We just are glad that we can pronounce your name at all.
Hey, no worries. That's what I'm here for. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
You did a great job on your third position. Let's see if we get to second place. Braxton DeWeese, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. Braxton DeWeese, do you have a copy?
Yes, I do. And, yep, you are pronouncing it right.
I did better than Nolan that time. Congratulations on your second place finish here, Braxton. It looked like you were going to give a little bit of competition to Clayton Hoffman at the end of this thing, but got a little bit of issues coming into one of those turns and gathered it up very well. I was certain you were going to lose second position, but you swung that thing back around and got back on that track and got back at it in no time flat. Give us a brief rundown of your whole race tonight.
It was pretty much a roller coaster, you know. The anticipation going up the big hill, which leading up to the race, with the setup, you know, turning the laps and practice and seeing where I play out is kind of the anticipation going up that the big hill, and then when that race starts, you start reaching the top, and then once you start making the mistakes, you start falling right down, and they just keep coming one after another. And that's one thing I really have to work on is mistakes at road courses. This track really comes out and bites you here and there if you don't brake at a certain point here and there and turn in at a certain point. So very technical and a little bit difficult, but very fun track. Yeah, I know it's my first start in the league and I got second. I'm one of the people that just always hates losing or make a mistake. Yeah, he probably would have caught up to me and probably would have passed me, but I rather would have lost a race actually getting past and make a mistake and just handing it away. But looking forward to Atlanta next week. See what we can do there.
Absolutely. We can't wait to see you at Atlanta, and congratulations again on your second place finish. What about any sponsors you want to thank? You got anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, I got a bunch I'd like to thank. I want to thank RockAuto and Psycho for coming on board. This is their first race. So glad to have a good running with them on the car for the first time. I also want to thank Zimmerman Concrete, Ron's Pizza, Ben's Publical, Ravenwood Enterprise, Scott Martin at Jeff Schmidt, NASCAR Technical Institute, Blaze Designs. I want to thank you guys for broadcasting. I looked back and already saw a couple broadcasts from earlier because my teammate Jacob Grant has already raced a couple races. So I tuned in here and there, and I really like what you guys have got going on. I'm looking forward to going back and watching it. I also want to thank Rapid Response, Extreme Home Solutions, Rapid Roofing. Also want to thank all the family and supporters that support me and watch and tune in. I really do appreciate it. Second place. See what we can do Atlanta next week.
Well, congratulations, Braxton, on that second place finish, and can't wait to see you on the track again next week. Let's see if we can get a hold of what's that race winner's name? It's a new one to me. Nolan.
Well, if you're talking about Clayton Hoffman, don't let him hear you say that. Good grief.
Oh, that's it. Clayton Hoffman. Clayton Hoffman. Now Kozlowski in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Clayton, it looks like stage racing is your new best friend.
I definitely bailed me out tonight. I had a fast car and got it stuck in the sand.
Yeah, we seen that, and I was in awe that you were able to get it towed back. And then there was a little bit of a controversy when you got towed back and the pits were closed. But I think we got that straightened around with the EOL, but that didn't hurt you at all. You came back through the field and managed to keep your car on the track a lot better than some of the other guys, and that got you the race win tonight.
I tried my best after that mistake. Yeah, there was unfortunate when I towed. I tried to uncheck my tires to at least not pit, but I changed tires anyways, so I was just stuck there, and I ended up not pitting under the caution, so I was leading. I think I got a lap lead I shouldn't have gotten. Should have gone to Noah, but I made sure I pulled off, made sure we got it straightened out to where I got the penalty I needed. And once we went green there for stage 2, it was just make up as much positions as I could off the start, but got kind of bottlenecked there and ended up going off track, losing some spots, gained them back at the very end of the stage 2, and just gave it all I had in that last stage.
Well, absolutely. You gave it everything you needed to do to win that thing. Congratulations on that race win. Nolan, you got anything for Mr. Clayton Hoffman?
Well, I look forward towards the course of the season. And of course, Atlanta Motor Speedway is next. It's got the oldest surface on the calendar, I do believe, at the moment. So what's going to be the plan coming into a very bumpy 1.6 miles oval?
Tire conservation. That place, the surface is just so abrasive. It chews through your tires, so you got to have a good handling car. It's got to be not too loose, not too tight, and you got to be able to just baby it around the track, but maintain a good pace so you can save your tires and make passes later on, and restarts are going to be crucial. Easiest time to pass is on those restarts, but you also got to make sure that you're not burning through your tires to make a couple extra passes.
Well, great job tonight again, as always, Mr. Clayton Hoffman. You got any sponsors you want to thank? Any shout-outs? Grandma and Grandpa, aunts and uncles, nieces and nephews. It's your hand. Go ahead.
Thank RockAuto for sponsoring the race. Thank ButtKicker for sponsoring the league. Thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. I want to thank my team, Gas and Go Racing. Those are some great guys there. I know we always have fun racing in and out and working on setups and you know, hanging out like normal.
Well, Nolan, I'm gonna let you go ahead and close out this race. This has been a very long race, and I hope everybody enjoyed watching it. And I'll let you close it out, Nolan.
It's been an incredibly thrilling night of action here. Of course, next time we go racing out, it will be for a little bit longer than just 31 laps. It'll be 130 around the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Bound to be a very entertaining race at a very entertaining track. So for now, I've been Nolan Rempel with Al Kazatz in the commentary box. Rob Melnick, as always, doing a great job behind the cameras. Signing off for now. We'll see you next week in Atlanta.